is it hack to do Trump? And I get it because people, the way I feel, I perform all the time at the Comedy Store, that there's a fatigue in audiences, and there's just Trump fatigue because the mainstream media, which is such a big part of the problem, the reason everything is Trump, 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 Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump that, is because he's good for ratings, because he's a lunatic. And he's a lunatic. He's an unhinged lunatic, and people like watching car accidents. So anyway, but then besides being an unhinged lunatic, he's causing, he's done horrible, horrible things. So Mike is asking, as a comic, do I have, a responsibility to talk about Trump? What do you think?
Yeah, that's actually that's a good interpretation. He didn't say that. But he asked,
What do you mean he didn't say that?
He didn't say, do I have a responsibility to talk?
Yes, he did.
Literally? That's the word.
Jesus Christ.
I think he said...
Is there anybody else who wants to co-host this show out there?
On. He said, is it hack to talk about Trump? It's hack if you
No, but there was another point. If you would have listened to the fucking thing where he said, do I have a responsibility? But go ahead. What do you think?
I don't think he has a responsibility to talk about Trump unless he has something funny to say that the other comics aren't saying.
Right.
Then it's hack. Hack is... If you're saying the same shit everyone else is saying, it's hack. If you're doing Uber jokes, everyone's doing a fucking Uber joke.
However, if you're Uber... Now, this is an interesting question, though, about being a hack or not.
The best Uber
well,
joke.
Maybe you have a really funny angle on Uber, and I think I have one. Here's my Uber joke. They have the driverless cars, and a driverless car just killed somebody. Did you see that
right,
fucking
I did
shit?
See that, yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a great shock. That a driverless car killed somebody. But the joke is, folks, if we have driverless cars, done through Uber technology, what kind of movie would have Driving Miss Daisy been? That would have been a horrible movie, like, it would have been Jessica Tandy just talking to nobody. It would have been in a driverless car
and running into a tree.
So that's my Uber joke.
That's great. That is a great joke. It would have been a horror comedy.
No, but back to Mike's point, though, the reason why he's saying do I have an obligation as a comic to talk about Trump is because he is creating a lot of despair and pain and his supporters and that whole movement in this country toward the darkness instead of the light. Like me and Steve, for example, are an example of coming toward the light. Like, just come toward the light. That is what we're an example of. That's why I dress up for the podcast. I put on a beautiful gray shirt. It's why you put on gray over gray. You have two gray over gray. But so ultimately, to tell Mike, I think, and my opinion is, yeah, first of all, anything I do on stage, whether it's about Trump or anything, is just something that I want to talk about. And when I realize it's a mistake is when I'm on stage and I'm talking about things that I think the audience wants to hear, and I'm not following my own instincts.
You do that, Eddie?
I have done it. I mean, I want to be liked and loved, and that's why.
But as you get longer in comedy, you do it less, right? I mean, I think.
Well, I've done it less. Yeah.
I mean, anyway, I think that this guy just needs to do comedy a little longer, do stand up for a little while longer, and it'll become intuitive and easy to figure out.
I think that's patronizing to say. I think this gentleman needs to do stand up longer.
I was asking the same questions in 4 years in. I didn't know what you're aiming for the bullseye and you can't hit it.
Yeah,
it's a weird.
But I think my answer is, you have to do as a comedian what you feel like you have to talk about. Like if something that day, pisses you off about Trump, and you think of, you think you're going to have, for me, it's rants. Like I rant about things. And if I think the rant is going to be funny, then I will do it. But if it's just kind of not coming from within, I won't do it. You know what I mean? And so anyway, I want to give you the number, and we'll try to, I don't know if do you think that addresses this question? Do you have anything else to say?
Use the force. Just use the force.